Did Jim Harbaugh just stab a whale or win a football game? Welcome to the real winners and losers from NFL Week 14. The Bears plummeted in playoff seeding after the Packers defeated them. Puka Nacua appears to be unguardable. The Texans defense gave us Patrick Mahomes' worst career performance. The Texans defense gave us Patrick Mahomes' worst career performance. Yes, I repeated that. For spite. The Bills and Bengals battled in the snow in the most exciting game this week. Shedeur Sanders lit up the Titans in a loss. Monday night, we had an overtime turnover fest that the Chargers survived. But before I reveal the real winners and losers from every NFL game this week, we have the Blop 10 plays. 10 plays so slippery, I thought Travis Kelce was trying to catch him. Starting with the Levis 11.
It sounds so beautiful, I want to give all the glory to God.
Fernando Mendoza is a Big Ten champion, and he has the foul mouth of Tom Grossi.
Whoever thought the Hoosiers would be here, but now the Hoosiers are flipping champs. Let's go!
If there is a football god, though, he will have Jameis Winston land a gig as a sideline reporter and give us the weirdest interviews we have ever seen.
Duval! Never supposed to be in this position, but by the glory of God, the great coaches, great teammates, everyone we have around us. Duval!
Blop 10, Dan Skipper blops a pass. Dan, if you're gonna get a pass thrown your way, you have to catch it as a big man. That's the code. The only thing to set big men back further might be cholesterol, Dan. Blop 9, the Colts, bringing in Phillip Rivers for a look. Careful, Indy. All it takes is a look with Rivers, and 9 months later, you're shooting a baby out of your
glory hole.
Blop 8, Red Zone lost its audio and goes static. And football fans were still saying it was a better listening experience than listening to their wives. That one's for you, Rodney Dangerfield. Blop 7, Tyler Shough throws a beautiful deep ball to the other team. A welcome to the NFL moment for the rookie quarterback throwing a pick to a 4-year veteran who is the same age as him. Blop 6, the Bears were trying to do the Lambeau Leap in Green Bay only to be pushed back by the crowd. I probably watched that 10 times and all I could think about was the orcs trying to climb the wall at Helm's Deep.
Is this it? Is this all you can conjure?
Johnson. Blop 5, I found my favorite football fan on earth. Shirtless Lions breast pumper pumping his mangalos so aggressively that it was even too much for Ryan Fitzpatrick.
That guy's rubbing his nipples a little too much for me.
Blop 4, Mike Tomlin blows a kiss after the game in Baltimore. I get the sentiment, but it's not cool to play with the cameraman's feelings like that. Aaron Rodgers nearly kissed Mason Rudolph after the defense sealed the win. Also not cool to play with your backup's feelings like that. Kiss Rudolph, you Christmas-hating bastard. Kiss him. Nobody believes you're married anyway, so sneak some tongue in there and have some fun with it, Rodgers. Blop 3, Terry Bradshaw has never met Mike Tomlin.
You know what? I've never met Mike Tomlin, but I know one thing. He is an outstanding, phenomenal coach.
That's former Steelers quarterback Terry Bradshaw, never meeting the guy who's coached the Steelers since the year 2007? This feels impossible, but I trust the airtight memory of Terry Bradshaw. Blop 2, Kyle Monangai was meant for winter football, hitting Edrin Cooper so hard shards of his helmet went flying. Yeah, but I'm not going to be impressed by winter football until Romeo Dobbs' Guardian cap starts cracking from the cold. Oddly, I think the Fox transition graphic showed us exactly what Monangai saw before hitting Cooper. Also, Terry Bradshaw thinks that's Mike Tomlin. Blop 1, Grant Delpit gets manhandled by Cam Ward on a sack attempt. Finally, a cooler incompletion than Patrick Mahomes. And Ward's team actually won the game. Blop 0, we have the greatest interception, fumble again that you have ever seen. Deshaun Hand gets his hand on it for the pick, and then chaos. Jalen Hurts turned it over twice on the same play. He's the first player since 1978 to have 2 turnovers on the same play. Some say this is the first time this has happened since 1933. Either way, even Jameis Winston was shocked. And thank you guys. Thank you. We finally crossed 830,000 subscribers. I appreciate each and every one of you. Except for you, Jake, you wily bastard. If you like football, subscribe here to That's Good Sports. Today's episode is sponsored by my friends at manscaped.com/goodsports. The Performance Package 5.0 is a great all-in-one grooming kit and gift package for the holidays. Or if you remember the last 8 years of my partnership with Manscaped, the Balladays. What better way to tell your grandma you love her than getting her the best pube trimmer in the game, the Lawnmower 5.0. Grandma, you're single now, and it's time to get out there and mingle. How about the Weed Whacker 3.0 for your nose and ear hair, a pesky problem that sneaks up on you like a blindside blitz? You get all of that in the Performance Package 5.0, but you need to order soon if you plan on gifting it for the Balladays. One thing I love about the Lawnmower 5.0 is its interchangeable heads for the trimmer, giving you 2 options for shaves, Manscaped's standard trimmer blade and a foil blade, which allows you to get bare down there. And it's still waterproof, so you can trim in the shower. Just use my link below, manscaped.com/goodsports for 15% off, plus 2 free gifts, which include their Midnight Bravo Boxers and the Shed 2.0 toiletry bag. The boxers are free, and I'm telling you, your balls will never be happier than when in Manscaped boxers. I'll use all 1.21 gigawatts to travel back to Thursday Night Football, where we watched a kicking battle for the ages. Cool shit. Cowboys kicker Brandon Aubrey made a domineering tackle in the first quarter. Cool shit. Which was quite the opposite of Lions kicker Jake Bates, who got absolutely blasted from the shrapnel of friendly fire. The final score of this game was 44-30 Lions, but Dallas only scored 2 TDs, which means Brandon Aubrey was 5 for 5 on field goals. He became the first kicker to hit 3 50-plus yarders in the same game. That's 22 fantasy points and some heavy dose of cool shit. Aubrey is nails, and he gets an honorary Dak Prescott award, which goes to the man who, no matter what he does, his team loses. My losing receiver, well, that's George Pickens, who had his effort questioned in this game, but also got blamed for the Cowboys' crushing interception to start the third quarter by Derek Barnes. When really, this is a tremendous play by Amik Robertson. Losing safety, Daketh Prescott, who did not take a safety, and the Lions showed us the closest you can get without actually being awarded a safety. And that's annoying shit. I think they need to change the rule. If you get tackled in the end zone, it's a safety. Fuck forward progress. Now, there were several odd calls from the officials in this game, but maybe the wildest was watching them not call Dallas for offsides here. Technically, I think the refs got this one right. But you will watch 100 more NFL games before you see that not flagged live. Winning legacy, running back Jahmyr Gibbs. Not only did he earn the winning hospital bill after breaking both knees and ankles with this juke, he was a huge reason the Lions kept their playoff hopes alive. In a game where Dak and Goff both threw for over 300 yards and no running back had more than 67 rushing yards, Gibbs was the difference, as his 3 touchdowns tied him with Barry Sanders at 47 TDs scored before the age of 24. He passed Randy Moss to tie with Barry Sanders, and for all of us football lovers, this is some cool ass shit. Gibbs accomplished that feat with roughly 200 fewer touches than Barry Sanders, so any nerd complaining about 17-game seasons could shut the fuck up. Gibbs has a long way to go to get on Barry's level, but his career start is as impressive as any, and that is indeed cool shit. Now, the Seahawks and Falcons were tied 6-6 at halftime. So it was a little surprising to see the Seahawks win 37-9. Sam Darnold and JSN got right, connecting twice in the end zone. JSN finished with 92 yards, Darnold 249 and 3 TDs, but the interesting thing for Seattle continues to be the defense and special teams. I've been waiting all year to say this. I need to say this because I've got the need for Shaheed. 100-yard return for Shaheed, the longest of the season season, and the Seahawks finally get a massive play for their in-season trade target. It wasn't just him contributing, though. My winning rookie, Nick Emanwari, who had the best game of his rookie season against the Falcons. Seattle's second-round pick had one of the best stat lines of the year. 1 interception, 1 pass broken up, 1 sack, 6 tackles, 2 tackles for a loss, and if that wasn't enough, he also blocked a kick. Only TJ Watt has done that nonsense. He might be the defensive rookie of the year, and he's the next man up in a rich history of great safeties up in Seattle. I'm, of course, talking about Jamal Adams.
Jamal Adams, I'm the best in the nation.
Losing foot, Darnell Mooney, who negated an absolute Kirk Cousins FDR. Mooney stepped out of bounds and did not reestablish position. I figured I should show Falcons fans what $40 million can almost buy you. Winning apology, my curse wheel to Colts fans. The only team that has ever made me feel bad for forging the curse wheel in the depths of hell is indeed the Colts. I am sorry. The most terrifying subreddit goes to the Colts, where they are now wishing for my dick to fall off. Hey guys, let's just check back in with each other in 2026, okay? Daniel Jones is done for the season with a torn Achilles. The Colts are still 8-5 and have a chance with Riley Leonard. The Jaguars now have the 3 seed in the AFC. Their defense is playing really well. They have 4 wins in a row, and Devin Lloyd notched his 5th pick of the year. Their recent success is mostly due to the fact that Trevor Lawrence stopped doing dumb shit during the game. At least for the last 2 games. He had 244 yards and 2 TDs against the Colts. Travis Etienne rushed for 2 TDs. And Brian Thomas Jr. relearned how to catch. And my man Tim frickin' Patrick, 78 yards and a score. The bed shitters, well, this was an easy choice this week. Not only did Washington get goose-egged, they were officially eliminated from the playoffs by 9. I do want to thank JJ McCarthy for eliminating the commies from Washington with his devout effort to defeat communism by way of McCarthyism.
Dead commies, dead commies, dead commies.
Instead of a blacklist, though, he just adds more eye black. The embarrassing 9 was actually Jayden Daniels going 9 for 20 and an interception. I'm really happy JJ got a decisive win. 3 touchdown passes, no interceptions, and only Josh Allen, Matthew Stafford, and Super Bowl champion Kenny Pickett had a higher passer rating than McCarthy on Sunday. Winning drive, the Vikings, who marched down the field on a 19-play, 98-yard touchdown drive that lasted 12 minutes and 1 second. The longest drive by any team in 4 years, and the longest by the Vikings since they discovered fucking Greenland. That might explain why this game took just 2 hours and 39 minutes of real time. Unfortunately, Jayden Daniels re-injured his elbow on this Andrew Van Ginkel tip and near 6. Near 6? More like Andrew Van Perna. Losing block, Isaiah Rodgers beelining it for Jayden Daniels on that pick. Seems kind of like a dick move, no? Only in the year 2025 or 1992 can a team like the Vikings get shut out 1 week and then shut out their opponent the next week. And congratulations to Harrison Smith and his 38th career interception, most among active players. The most stimulating game, aka the Arthur Smith Award, well, that's going to the Bills and Bengals in the snow. Joe Burrow and Josh Allen combined for over 500 passing yards and 8 touchdowns in the snow. Did you know it was in the snow? Cincy opened the game with a 14-play touchdown drive and followed it with back-to-back winning catches. One from Mike Gesicki with strong hands, and Hi T. Higgins with a snow-kissed toe-tap TD. It looked like the Bills wouldn't be able to keep up with the 21 points since he scored in the first half. Every single Bengal appeared to possess the greatest hands in the league, including Chase Brown, but Buffalo hung around, and on 4th and 4, Josh Allen, only Mahomes did, scrambling and somehow fitting this ball into Shakir. I really thought the Bengals were going to come away with the win, though, when the goal line decided to make James Cook its next unsuspecting victim. Things looked bleak as the Bills trailed by 10 with less than 8 minutes remaining in the game. But that's when we were tickled with peak stimulation. Josh Allen snowshoed his way downfield for the longest rushing touchdown of his career at 40 yards. The Bills' D needed to step up, and Benford Tools is proud to present the clutch play to Christian Benford again, who swipes this one out of the air from Burrow and goes to the house to take the lead.
But wait, there's more!
Winning deja vu, AJ Epinesa gets the tip pick to take the ball right back again. Josh Allen finds Dawson Knox, who had 93 yards, and Buffalo scored their third touchdown in 5 minutes as Allen connects with his third tight end, Jackson Hawes, trailing by 10 to building an insurmountable 11-point lead in that span. Holy shit, losing stat. This would actually be the first loss for the Bengals this season with Joe Burrow starting a game. And I tried to think outside the box for the winning quarterback this week, but it's unequivocally Josh Allen. 3 TDs, highest passer rating at 139.7 in the snow. Did I say it was in the snow? 78 rushing yards in a TD, absolute unit. Allen's stiffest competition was JJ McCarthy and Tyler Shough. The Michael Penis Jr. Award, which goes to the player who rose to the occasion, is Tyler Shough.
You know, Dennis, what if Michael Keaton's name was Michael Penis?
Who didn't get a TD through the air. In fact, he only managed to pick but delivered 2 crucial scores with his thighs, glutes, calves, ankles, and feet, and dealt an upsetting blow to the division rival Buccaneers. The Saints had 2 really impressive stops on 4th down. Tampa went for it 7 times on 4th down, converting just 2, which made even Dan Campbell do a double take. Carl will be telling his grander son about his hit on Bucky Irving on 4th down. And Demario Davis will also be telling Carl's grander son about his own stop right up the middle on 4th down. Our Jameis Winston Award, the anti-game manager, if you will, goes to one Baker Mayfield. I know he's playing hurt, but he just had one of his worst games as a Buccaneer against a rapidly improving Saints defense. 14 of 30 for just 122 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. It's becoming a trend in his last 5 games. The Bucs are 1-4, while Baker is completing just 56% of his passes and putting up only 160 yards per game. He did have a touchdown go through the hands of a
Emeka Egbegboo.
Wait, no, I think that's actually an Emeka Egbegboo.
Boo this man!
But the once 6-2 Bucs are now 7-6 and desperately clinging onto the top spot of the wretched NFC South. It's hard to believe, but this was the first time Aaron Rodgers and Lamar Jackson played against each other. Aaron opened the day with the 55-yard FDR to DK Metcalf. That's the first 20-plus air yard pass completion for the Steelers since October. Rodgers is old enough to remember when an FDR could buy you a cheeseburger at McDonald's, and he hit DK with another.
And I remember when a dime bag cost a dime.
DK, 148 yards on the day, just his second 100-yard game in Pittsburgh. Rodgers is the winning game manager. For all of the talk about Aaron Rodgers looking old and his bones being made of glass or obsidian and crystals based on whatever hocus pocus he practices in the dark, he turned in one of the best performances of the season for him when the Steelers needed it the most. 284 yards, 1 TD, no sacks, no picks, and vintage Rodgers with the discount double check celebration following a very spry touchdown run for the 42-year-old. The Steelers really did need it because they only rushed for 34 yards while the Ravens dropped 217 on the ground against them. That leads to a losing stat. The Ravens have lost to the Steelers 3 times while outrushing them by 170 or more yards. And if that wasn't enough, he became the second 42-year-old to catch a pass in an NFL game. It's Jerry Rice and now Aaron Helmet Catch Rodgers alone in that category.
I don't watch porn.
Losing family? Surprisingly, not Rodgers, but Lamar Jackson, who was intercepted by his own cousin, James Pierce.
Pierre.
Hard to win when your own family attacks your balls. My own family's coming after my family jewels. The Ravens were victims of some fuckery in this game, including a terrible unnecessary roughness penalty on Travis Jones on a field goal that opened the door for a Kenneth Gainwell TD to put them up 17-3. But mostly, they have themselves to blame. When they needed a stop, they simply allowed Jaylen Warren to go untouched on a 38-yard swing pass. A new award, though, has been created. The Isaiah Likely Award. This goes to the guy who, no matter what he does not score a touchdown. This did not count as a TD, and Mark Andrews picked the worst time to provide a boost to the Ravens defense on 4th down.
I'm pretty sure that when Lamar steps up against his 3-man rush, that he's looking for DeAndre Hopkins. He's got his hands up, and that's right where Lamar is looking. Except here comes Mark Andrews right there with Patrick Queen. Like, Nuke can't believe, like, he thinks he's catching the game-winning touchdown. And then the reaction by Lamar, like, I can't believe it.
Back to Likely in that catch, though. The rules of the catch are on the screen for you to read. My only question is, what else is Isaiah Likely supposed to do here besides hold on to the ball? I'm sorry, Ravens fans. The Jets actually earned the We Ass Award this week.
We ass.
Justin Fields was inactive with a knee injury. Tyrod Taylor was 1 of 4 passing for 6 yards and a pick before exiting the game with a groin injury, which forced Brady Cook into the lineup. And things did not go well for the undrafted QB out of Missouri. Fumbled snap and 2 interceptions, but I don't blame him. I blame the Jets for rolling into 20-25 with Fields, Taylor, and Cook. Miami is on a 4-game win streak, and I never thought I'd see Tua Tagovailoa hit Jalen Waddle in stride for a touchdown while getting absolutely blasted this hard. Nor did I ever think I'd see Tua get up from a hit like that, but he did. Miami gashed the Jets with 239 rushing yards. Devin Achane was averaging 13 per carry before exiting with a rib injury. Jalen Wright is my winning backup, coming in and scoring a TD behind 107 rushing yards. I should be talking about Jets returner Isaiah Williams, who has 2 punt returns this season, had one in this game, and over 1,000 return yards. But I've got a more important question burning in my loins. Did a white corner get an interception this week? Yes, Ethan Bonner did. Riley Moss, Cooper DeJean, Jason Sehorn. We fucking forgot about Ethan Bonner. Will the real Slim Shady please stand up? It took nearly 3 seasons, but Ethan Bonner, cornerback from the Miami Dolphins, came down with a beautiful one-handed interception of Brady Cook to seal the game for the Finns in New York. That was just the 10th time he's been targeted in the NFL, so just know if you look Bonner's way, there's a 10% chance this pasty ballhawk's stealing it. And if you look at Cook and Bonner, well, that might be the whitest play in NFL history. The Broncos-Raiders game was already recapped in full here. Rookie running back RJ Harvey, though, had 60 rushing yards against stacked boxes. Per Next Gen Stats, those 10 successful runs against 8+ defenders in the box was the most since Derrick Henry. Lee Harvey went after the president, and RJ Harvey's coming for the king.
Long live the king.
The Los Angeles Rams bounced back decisively after their surprise loss to the Panthers last week. 6 total touchdowns for the Rams offense, and Blake Corum was so close to earning winning running back honors this week. Instead, he and Kyron Williams can share the winning 2-headed monster. Corum ripped for 128, Williams 84, as they combined for over 200 rushing yards. All of that took place in the first 3 quarters before the Rams called the dogs off in their victory blowout. Puka's got the 3rd most receiving yards of any wideout in his first 40 games behind just OBJ and Justin Jefferson. The losingest loss? Well, that's going to the Bears, who went from first place in the NFC to the fucking 7 seed after just 1 loss. That's not a knock on the Bears, but a credit to how competitive 2025 has been in the NFL. After a scoreless first quarter, this game heated up nicely. The kind of heat you'd only experience by a warm fire on a chilly winter day while dipping your microwave warm steak into Santa's milk. Ain't that right, Charlie Day?
How about your favorite food? What would that be?
Oh, milk steak. What?
The worst throwing form that no kid should ever mimic on any football field ever goes to Jordan Love, throwing back foot fadeaways that somehow work for no reason. The Packers really just had an all-around winning team effort. Christian Watson stepped up with 89 yards and 2 touchdowns. He hit a top speed of 21.6 miles per hour, less than a year after tearing his ACL. That's impressive. Bo Milton caught 1 pass for 45 yards and a touchdown and had a very heads-up offensive pass interference on 3rd down. Josh Jacobs scored and had a death knell of a run on 3rd and 1 late in the 4th that set up his lone TD, probably his most important run as a Packer. Hell, the 71 first-half yards allowed was the lowest by a Ben Johnson offense, so the Packers' D was on their game. The Bears, though, they went down clawing. Is that a Bear reference or a Caleb Williams reference? I don't know, but they clawed. They're not pushovers. And in fact, Caleb Williams gets the Tua
Tagovailoa
award going to the guy who almost got it right. Caleb led an impressive drive after the Josh Jacobs TD in the 4th. 2 deep completions to move downfield until on 4th and 2, after buying some time, he hung up this pass for Keyshawn Nixon to pluck out of the air and in the game. Angriest coach is still Matt LaFleur. Matt LaFleur could win the lottery on his day off while being fed grapes by scantily dressed women and still be upset. Are these red globe grapes? You fucking scum! I said moondrop grapes, you assholes! Moondrop grapes! He was angry that Luther Burden was allowed to give Keyshawn Nixon the Darth Vader chokehold. Matt, how can you look at these 2 photos and not laugh, buddy? Winning pettiness? The Bears got a big 22-yard gain on their final drive after Darnell Wright put Micah Parsons in a headlock. The Jumbotron showed the replay over and over again during the 2-minute break to rile up the crowd. This was LaFleur after the game.
I think it is a difficult job, but I guess I don't know what holding is anymore, because I thought that was pretty clear and obvious hold, but I guess I don't know what that means.
Now, I thought that this would be the wee ass bowl, but this game was far from wee ass. The full Dak Prescott award goes to Shedeur Sanders, who just edged out Joe Burrow to get the award formerly called the Joe Burrow Award, but is now the Dak Prescott Award. Shedeur Sanders became the first Browns QB since 1950 to throw for 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, and rush for a score. Shedeur hit Judkins on a screen, followed it with some beautiful touch to David Njoku for the TD. Sanders did the impossible and even made Jerry Jeudy happy, finding Jerry in stride for a 60-yard touchdown, followed by another beautiful dot, followed by a bad choice for the interception. Losing celebration, the Titans' entire defense doing the Shedeur watch celly after forcing a fumble on Dylan Sampson? Why didn't you guys do that after the Sanders pick? Sanders is looking like the guy, though, in Cleveland, but credit the Titans' defense for holding the Browns to just 61 rushing yards. Myles Garrett did get a sack, but that was the only sack Tennessee allowed all game. The most shocking award of the entire 2025 NFL season is Tennessee earning the winning offensive line. The Titans held Myles Garrett to the 2nd lowest pass rush win rate of his career at 4%. I wouldn't have put 4% of a dollar on a bet that the Titans line would play this well. They opened lanes for the winning running back. Yeah, it's Tony Pollard. Pollard gashed the Browns for a $161 and 2 long-ass touchdown runs, including a 65-yard rip with a winning block from Van Jefferson Airplane down by the river. Pollard averaged 6.5 per carry on 25 runs. If I could give him Cam Ward's stiff arm strength, he'd be the best running back on earth. Derrick Henry was the only running back that put up 100 yards on the Browns this season. Cam Ward finished the day with 177 passing yards, but did get his first multi-passing TD game of the season. And my losing team, the Kansas City Chiefs, led by their godless quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, and his 3 interceptions. I've been waiting 8 fucking years for Patrick Mahomes to have a stat line like this, and it was more pleasurable to see than Pam Anderson on Baywatch as a 13-year-old boy.
Pamela, I am not attracted to you anymore. Not!
3 interceptions, no touchdowns, 160 yards, and at least 3 terrible drops by his ball catchers. 3 interceptions, no touchdowns, 160 yards, and at least 3 terrible drops by his ball catchers. Yeah, I repeated that for spite. Patrick Mahomes had a passer rating of 19.8. I cannot river dance on their graves yet, but the Chiefs will not win the AFC West for the first time in nearly a godless decade. Even though it wasn't truly on him, the losing quarterback this week with numerous worsts of his career is Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes ended the game with a negative .54 EPA per dropback. The worst of his career. 42.4% completion percentage. Worst of his career. 19.8 passer rating. Fuck yeah, worst of his career. The Chiefs' offense looked worse than the Texans' offense. And even though it was ugly, Houston's running backs, Woody Marks and Dare Ogunbowale each found the end zone. Ogunbowale scored while Woody was getting checked out for an injury. Nico Collins had a very important 121 yards on just 4 receptions. The story to me, though, was the Texans' winning defender, Jalen Petrie. Not only did Jalen Petrie do an incredible job tipping and tracking one of those Mahomes picks, he crashed into Rashee Rice going about 80 miles per hour. Finally, Rice knows what it feels like to watch the person who hit him immediately leave the scene of an accident.
Whoa, I've seen some hits coming across.
Losing take, former Chief Mitchell Schwartz saying that was a dirty hit. If a former football player truly believes that, well, that's the day football died. And they were singing, bye, bye, fuck you, Kansas City. Ha ha ha! That's the hardest I've ever seen a guy in a Guardian cap hit someone. Jalen Petrie doesn't wear a Guardian cap for his safety. He wears it for your safety. This looked like an old school John Lynch hit from the early 2000s, and I legitimately think Petrie's presence was a big reason the Chiefs receivers started dropping balls in the second half of that game. CJ Stroud survived a terrible third quarter where he had 9 straight incompletions, and the Texans had negative 2 yards of offense. Losing duo Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, who ended the game with a dropped pass and another dropped pass that was intercepted by the Texans. And after what the Chiefs have done to you in the playoffs, Houston, you have won the revenge dagger. The Eagles lost to the Chargers in an overtime battle on Monday Night Football, if you can call it a battle. The game started normal enough. Kamani Vidal went 60 on the screen to make Omarion Hampton's return touchdown a cakewalk. Hell, even Saquon Barkley remembered he's fucking Saquon Barkley. But that was the last easy thing to happen for LA, for Herbert, or for any God-fearing man in that stadium. Losing attempted murder, the Chargers who tried to kill Justin Herbert. Herbert was a week removed from surgery to repair his broken non-throwing hand. LA lost their tackle, Trey Pipkins, early in the game, and if you thought Jim Harbaugh and Greg Roman would have had a game plan to protect their injured quarterback, you're wrong. When he wasn't getting sacked, Justin Herbert actually looked pretty good with his broken hand. Herbert, though, earns my winning, gutsy performance. He led the Chargers in rushing yards for some reason with 60. I saw him use his broken hand to stiff arm a dude, and he broke his fall a dozen times with that bad hand. He was sacked 7 fucking times in this game. 7, just pulverized, and with pass protection that looked like this. At one point late in this game, Herbert was pressured on over 70% of his dropbacks. This was the most impressive game I've seen from Herbert, and it was close to the most horrific pressure rate any quarterback has ever faced, ever, and LA seemed to do nothing to mitigate it. Luckily, Herbert was facing Mr. Losing Turnover, Jalen Hurts, and yes, you can join Patrick Mahomes as our losing QB this week as well, fitting for the two 2024 Super Bowlers. In addition to the funniest turnover sequence ever with the pick and a fumble, Jalen finished the night with 4 interceptions, 5 total turnovers, and a partridge in a pear tree. There was a back and forth sequence in this game where LA and Philly combined for 5 turnovers on 11 plays. Hurts played his worst game ever, and that is not hyperbole. And after Dicker, the Cameron kicker, who is as nails as Brandon Aubrey, hit his 5th field goal in overtime. Not 5 in overtime, his 5th field goal was in overtime. Jalen Hurts fell victim to Cam Hart with our winning clutch play. Cam Hart, after Odafe Owe jumped off sides on 4th down in overtime to save the Eagles, I thought they were poised to steal a win. They were driving. Cam put all of his heart into his hand and tipped this pass back to Tony Jefferson for the interception. And after the game, Jefferson gave all the credit to Cam Hart, which was a classy move for that tip. A career high, though, 4 interceptions for Jalen Hurts. His 5 turnovers in this game matched his entire season total, and Jim Harbaugh was never so happy to watch the repeated abuse of his quarterback.
I put into discussion the birth of my 7 children, my marriage.
Thanks for watching That's Good Sports. Please make sure you subscribe here. Thanks for watching these episodes all season long. You guys are freaking awesome, and please let the Phillip Rivers signing happen soon.